of the Board of Education meeting is called to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Secretary Ristich, will you please take roll call?
President Wagner, it looks like we're missing Member Torres at the moment.
All right, we are going to move on to the approval of the agenda. Unless there are objections, the agenda will be approved as presented. Are we good? Okay, we good? All right. And now we are going to move on to the celebration of learning with Mrs. Cucci and our esports team.
Thank you for having us this evening. So we are here to share about our esports league. We are a part of the Michigan High School Esports League, and we want to give you a little bit of data, because it wouldn't be me if we didn't, and about what esports is. So we launched our United High School team in the fall of 2024. Through our technology bond, as you know, with your approval, we put in a esports lab at Kettering that summer, and we are, bringing that to Mott this coming summer, and so excited to do so. Our team is a part, like I just said, of MHSEL, and we play on the Playverse platform. So Playverse is a national platform, but it is the platform our state plays through. It provides a safe, competitive, and educational environment where our student athletes, and yes, esports members are athletes, build skills, explore career paths, and enhance school culture. It also provides post-secondary opportunities. There are several millions of dollars in scholarships, and there are also esports teams, as we'll talk about in a little bit, at university, college, and junior college level. As a result of our growing team, and by growing, I mean there are days the lab is full, we are going to institute the program and move to a Kettering and Mott team, which, as you know, when we first brought this proposal 2 years ago, we said that was our goal, was to do the United team, see where it went, and we are at that point, which is super exciting. So the benefits of esports. So the motto is that no matter the results, when students compete, school culture wins. So that is the state motto that we all go by in the esports group. So based on a national survey by Playverse, which our students were part of this survey, 45% of high school esports student athletes have never participated in extracurriculars. So this provides them that opportunity. High school students reported gains in the following areas: socializing, communication, leadership, mental health, and sportsmanship, which is huge considering 45% were not involved before. The other key, and this was interesting, students had an opportunity to write in, and overwhelmingly, students identified that this provided them the opportunity to see themselves either at a pro level or going to college because they knew they could participate in this avenue. So it really changed some trajectories for some kids and even some of our own, and we are very proud of that. So quick lead stats. This goes along with us, especially with the growing. So this past fall, there were 199 schools in Michigan that competed, 895 teams, and you may be wondering why there's a difference between the team number and the school number. Each game is considered a team. So like we particularly can have up to 8 games, so we can have up to 8 teams per season. So 895 teams, over 4,000 students, and the Michigan championships were held at the Michigan State's Esports Arena. If you have not seen that, as Ms. Board Member Ristich is shaking his head, I would encourage you to Google the Michigan State Esports Lab. It is impressive. So this spring, our current season, we jumped to 263 schools, just shy of 1,000 students, or 1,000 teams, sorry, 4,631 students, and the esports championships will be held in a couple weeks at OU. So it's really a nice opportunity for our kids to participate, and then if we would make it to state championship rounds, they would get to see the university level as well. So again, as we talked about a little bit, these are just a sampling, and I will send this presentation to you as well, of collegiate level programs from Michigan. So Northwood has one of the most dominant programs in the world, which is right in Midland, not too far from us. Michigan State, as I shared, has a big program, University of Michigan. But then when you go down, Ferris State has the second largest facility in the state. And that's something that a lot of places and universities have modeled theirs off of. And as I shared and not highlighted, Schoolcraft College, St. Clair College, they all have programs too. So it's really looking at that avenue for our kids to go on. As well as we could go down the road of how many pro esports programs there are. And you can make quite a bit of money with an esports program. So I get to highlight Logan today. So Logan is the one we shared in the fall, who played Madden NFL 26 on the PlayStation 5. He qualified as a state championship playoff in the round 1. He did not make out of round 1. One thing to keep in mind, and we share this a lot, is it's a 1-game elimination. So you are into playoffs, which is great and fantastic and hard to get there, but you have one chance to keep it there. Logan unfortunately couldn't be here because he is also a lacrosse player. So he had a commitment tonight and could not join us. Our coach during the fall season is Kyle Yap. Kyle could not be here because he is our softball girls coach at Kettering. So he had also, so as you see, the kind of trend is a lot of our students who participate in the fall, some of them are spring sports players, as well as our coaches, and vice versa. You're gonna meet Tony Miller in a second, who I know you've met before. He is our spring coach, coaches a sport in the fall. So him and Kyle work hand in hand together, which is a really good partnership. So I have the privilege of introducing Tony to share about the program from his perspective.
All right, you guys hear me okay? Okay. I have a few of these guys here with me right now. I'm going to let them introduce themselves in a second here, but highlights from this spring, we had our Marvel Rivals team there with Braden Peruski, Landon Frack, Deacon Gravlin played a little bit. He's here with us, so is Braden and Landon. Nico Tucker, who could not make it. Logan is here. So that's our Marvel Rivals team. That's 6 players are needed to compete each week, right? Yeah, so we always have to have our 6 kids there ready to compete in that game. That's a new game to our league this year. So this was our first inaugural season of Rivals. And they definitely got better and better as the year went on. It was a rough start. I think we drew some really good teams early in the season, and it was kind of like, oh man, this is gonna be tough. But then we got on a little winning streak, and we finished really strong and really didn't miss the play. I think one more win might have put us in the playoffs. So we were close, and we had a good comeback there. Computer-based, right, so it's all PC. Actually, they can play on the PlayStation as well. So one of the kids likes to play PlayStation. Most of the other guys play on the PC with keyboard and mouse. Our Smash Brothers teams played on the Nintendo Switch. That is 3 players needed each week. Our regular 4 there were Tristan, Brian, Deacon up top, who's here. Tristan, Brian, Hector, and Logan all participated as well, so always need 3 people to play that game. They play that on the Switch up on the big screen. The team this year did awesome. I mean, they've been playing Smash since we started, right, Deacon? Our first year as an esport team, Deacon was part of that. Our team's gotten better and better every year. This year, we had an awesome regular season. It's 160-something teams, I believe, in the state participated. We were the 16th ranked going into playoffs, so we qualified for playoffs. They do a 64-team bracket similar to NCAA. So I guess you would see us probably as a 4 seed. Fours sometimes get a tough matchup against the 12 seed, and that happened this year, unfortunately. So we were really hopeful that we'd come here today to tell you that we would be headed to play our final 8 game at Oakland University, but it was a tough matchup. It didn't work out, but again, it was a great season. I know the guys played great, and I think they're really proud of themselves.
And now we're gonna let the students introduce themselves and tell you a little bit about them.
Yeah, if you guys want to tell them who you are, what grade you're in, what your sport you're playing, and why you like it.
Hello, I am Deacon Gravlin. I'm in the 12th grade, and I sub for Marvel Rivals, and I mostly play Smash Bros. I've been here since the program was introduced.
My name is Landon Frack. I am a freshman. I just got in this year. I play for Rivals, and I think it's pretty good.
My name is Logan Trimper. I'm a freshman. I play for Rivals on the team, and I sub for Smash Bros. I think my favorite thing about being in esports was hanging out with my friends and just being able to like spend time with them.
Hello, my name is Braden Peruski. I am the Marvel Rivals team captain and have been ever since the fall season. Before then, it was someone else, which left, but I am a 9th grader. The best thing I'd have to say that I enjoy most from playing Marvel Rivals is being able to cheer my teammates on, especially after a tough loss, despite, you know, going through, like, I don't know, 0-10 maybe, and it's still just fun cheering everyone on because, like, we try our best, we try our hardest, and we have fun, and that's what it's here for.
So now is your, now is your opportunity, and the boys know that they could be asked questions. So you're more than welcome to ask them questions, or Tony and I.
All right, colleagues, do we have questions? Member Torres?
So are any of you gonna, I know that it's, the clubs and the teams are available in college level. My nephew's in a sports fraternity over at Adrian. He plays baseball. And included in that sports fraternity are some of the kids that play the esports. So are any of you planning to go esports in college next year or in the future?
Thinking about it?
So I've been accepted into Ferris State University, and I think that I will be going into their esports program there.
That's awesome.
I can tell you, I know they're like we said, they're freshmen, so they're
Yeah.
probably not quite thinking there yet. But I know now that they've seen that list of all the schools that are offering it, and I can tell you when I was at a CTE conference 2 months ago, I was just getting some information about some CTE programs, and Northwood was there, and they were just like, Mr. Miller, you got to call us, because I told him we had a new esport program, so he's like, oh, look at these scholarships we offer. So he was just like bombarding me with scholarships, and he wants to come out, he wants to meet the team. So definitely going to look into scheduling something next spring with them to come out, see our lab, and see what we're doing right now.
That's awesome. Member Ristich?
First off, thank you and congratulations. This is really amazing. Just love it so much. And Deacon, you've been here since we started, right? Which means you've helped to really guide this program. So big kudos to you. That's, I'm sure, no small feat. And look, you've got a whole group of underclassmen coming in behind you, and you're showing them what it takes. So big kudos to you, Deacon. Thank you. I've got a couple questions. I'm wondering, what games do we compete in? So I know we got Smash, and then we've got Marvel. What are some of the other games?
Don't we have, wasn't chess
Rocket-
one?
Rocket-
We have Rocket League,
Madden.
a Madden.
Ah,
Don't we have, isn't chess a thing, but
No one's
we have chess, but no one really chose chess.
Hearthstone?
We have Hearthstone?
No one's played that either, but yeah.
Yeah, we have Hearthstone, no one plays it.
NBA 2K?
NBA 2K.
Yep.
so, and how long does a match take?
Usually, it depends on the game.
Okay.
With Smash Bros, it usually lasts like an hour-ish?
An hour,
Yeah,
yeah.
like an hour-ish. Though I will say with Marvel Rivals, it lasts for like 2-ish.
So,
So
yeah,
like
if
an
it's-
hour and 30 minutes.
Yes.
How many, and you can play how many games or matches in any given day?
So,
I don't, is it best of 3 for you guys?
so for us in Smash Bros, it is a best of 3 out of 5 format. So at the most we can play 5 games. At the least, we've played 3 and absolutely steamrolled them.
Yeah, and it's the same for them, it's 5. Yeah, best of 5. Yep.
That's amazing. Well, congratulations. And Mr.
Thank
Miller,
you.
thank you so much. What an exciting opportunity. Congrats.
Member Donahue?
I just want to say, with these new games, you're way above my skill level. But I'll tell you what, Oregon Trail or Pong, I got you, man. I'll take you on in any of those. So, but truly, congratulations with everything, and it's great to see that the program is expanding. You know, not only through Kettering and building up, but coming up at Mott too. That's really cool to see. So, and the growth hormones in the milk, I would have bet all 4 of you guys were seniors in high school, not 3 freshmen there. So keep going, man. All right. Well.
All right, any other comments, colleagues? Well, thank you very much. This was amazing. We always love it when students come and present to us and share their experiences, and I'm so excited that we have this opportunity. Having 2 kids in college and 1 still in high school, I will tell you, in all the college tours we've done, esports is definitely taking over, and it's a great way to get access and scholarships into those secondary learning experiences. So you guys are doing awesome. I can't wait next year for the update on how the team's doing next year. Thank you so much. Congratulations. We'll give them an opportunity to head out. I know. I was going to say Tetris, like we could do a Tetris competition. I would do Tetris, right?
75 or 76, they had a little game up with Pierce.
Right.
I failed. So again, Oregon Trail, good to hear that one.
Yes,
Bernstein
yes.
Bears,
Oh my gosh.
kids enjoyed that one.
That one.
They kicked my butt tonight too, so we'll talk about it.
All right, we are going to pass the baton over to Superintendent Adam Martin. Prior to our moving on to the rest, we have a wonderful recognition of one of our amazing teachers. So I am going to pass it over to Adam Martin so we can continue on with this exciting recognition.
Thank you, President Wagner. I'd like to invite the illustrious Miss Mary Crate to come join me. Mary is an exceptional teacher, and she's well known around these parts. She has been over 50 years in the community and 40 years as a teacher. I don't know that there's one person more committed to Waterford School District than Mary, and really appreciate all the work she does every day for our students, for our families. She has reached out to me numerous times, hey, how do we help? How do we move ourselves forward? In recognition of Mary's meaningful and lasting impact on our community, the Oakland County Board of Commissioners recently honored her with a 2026 Women's History Month Award. Mary, on behalf of the entire Waterford School District community, we join you in celebration of this accomplishment and congratulate you on this most deserving recognition. We have a certificate for you, and there's a gift bag under here, but I didn't know if you wanted to say a few things, but thank you so much. Yeah. Appreciate it.
My name is Mary Crate. Back in 1986, I was so thrilled as a young teacher. I was up against 10 people who were a little bit older. Back in the 1980s, the jobs were not there. They called me in and said, if you want a job, you got to go to junior high. So I started my career in February of 1986 at Mason Junior High. My first year students were 9th graders who are now 53. Some of them, I thought I was doing really well. You have former students in class. You have the parents of former students in class. I got back to Mason in the fall of 2018, and I was standing out in the hallway for parent-teacher conferences, and one of my boys came out and said, Mrs. Crate. I go, is that your dad? He goes, no, that's my grandpa. He was one of your students the first year. So I've run the gamut through Waterford, and I just recently had 2 former Riverside students reach out to me and say, Mrs. Crate, I'm now a kindergarten teacher, and I want you to know it's because of you that I'm doing what I do. And that, to me, that's the ultimate. I get to get up. For the last 40 years, I've been able to get up every day and go to work. It's not work. It's a job I love. To me, this isn't work. This is a passion and a calling. Sometimes a little bit of insanity mixed in, but I love what I do, and it's been an honor to work for the Waterford School District, and you'll see me around for quite a while yet. So.
Mary, you forgot your bag. Colleagues, do we have any comments? Member Petrucia?
Mary, you, again, not only are you're our teacher here in Waterford, you're our student. I mean, you're Waterford.
Waterford Mott, 1980.
Yep.
Nothing against Kettering or Township.
Yeah. But again, it's really neat that you're not part of our community. You are our community. Mm-hmm. And I want to thank you for that.
Yes. Colleagues, Member McGregor?
I just wanted to say, the number of kids that I have seen run up to you when we're out in the community at different events says a lot. You know, your kids love you as a teacher, and I can say I never had you as my teacher, but teachers make a world of difference in our lives, and sometimes they can change the trajectory of our lives, and I'm sure that you have done that for students, and that's greatly appreciated.
Any other comments? Member Torres?
Also add that, Mary's such a steadfast advocate for education, not only here in the school district, but at the local level, or at the Lansing level, and at the federal level, pushing for more federal funds and more state funds. And she's an advocate here in our community. She lives right here in the community. She advocates not only for students, but for our community members. So it's great to see you get that award and for you to be here in our district. I remember Mary was at an event of mine, and I didn't know my niece had her as a teacher, and my niece's face lit up, and she was like, Miss Crate, you know, and we didn't put two to two together that she was my niece and that I knew Miss Crate. So that right there showed me that the joy that the students have for you. So congratulations.
And honestly, Mary, I think that the impact that you have had on our community, on our students, is immeasurable. I don't think that we can even fully comprehend all the lives that you have touched throughout your career as a teacher here in our district. But just as my colleagues have said, as someone who is such an advocate and a champion, not just for our district, but for our community and for Waterford. And we are truly lucky to have you in our community and all the advocacy that you have done and just all the lives that you have touched. And I know, I wholeheartedly believe you are not going anywhere. So I know there are many more students that you are going to touch and leave your impact and your imprint on, and they will be better for that. All right, are we ready? We're gonna move on, all right. So we are now going to move on to public comment on action items. Prior to that, our superintendent does have a statement that he would like to share with our community and with the listening public.
Thank you so much. I know that some in the audience are here to express concerns about the recommendation this evening to approve the revocable license agreement with Waterford Police. The recommendation before the board is to grant the use of a small portion of the rooftop of our transportation building as a launch and recovery location for the Waterford Police Department's drone for public safety and law enforcement purposes. I wanted to make sure to provide some information about that agreement for some of our guests who weren't with us at the last meeting. First of all, we are blessed that Waterford School District and the Waterford Police Department have a healthy collaborative relationship that has been ongoing for some time. The transportation building that is recommended is an ancillary building that does not have students in it. The drone will not be used to surveil any Waterford School District students or facilities or employees. This agreement does not provide access to students, facilities, or to identities of children. The drone will not access any Waterford School District electrical connectivity or internet or network access. The police department is responsible for those portions, the wiring and connectivity, which is completely separate from the district. No Waterford School District data or video will be collected by Flock. Waterford School District has no role in the drone video collection or the data storage. A Waterford School District employee must be present to facilitate access to the transportation rooftop. We will receive no financial expense and no financial revenue from this agreement. And lastly, Waterford School District has the right to terminate this agreement at any time with 60 days notice. So I wanted to provide some clarity for those who were not with us last month, just in terms of what this agreement is. Thank you.
You're welcome. I do believe we can open up to public comment. And Chief Underwood, did you want to, we're going to wait that? Okay, we'll invite that during our discussion. All right, so I want to make a few things clear as we work our way over to the podium. We will now take public comment on action items. Please be reminded that comments are limited to 3 minutes in duration. Members of the public are invited to share comments. However, this is not intended to be a time for questions or answers. Lastly, participants may speak only once on the same topic and are asked to avoid statements that are personally directed, abusive, or obscene. As I call you to the podium, if you can make sure to please state your address and your name for the record, I would appreciate that as well. Samantha Hunt. And I do want to make clear, as Ms. Hunt is making her way down to the podium, this is strictly public comment only on action items, on things that we are voting on. I do have two green cards here for public comment. These don't qualify for those reasons, so these will not be until the end at public comment after the meeting. All right, Ms. Samantha. Ma'am, we are going to move on to public comment. The agenda does state in there that public comment at this time is only on action items, so it is stated clearly in the agenda. All right, go ahead, Ms. Hunt, you have the podium.
Good evening. My name is Samantha Hunt, and I'm a mother of 3 children in Waterford School District. First, let me say I am a champion of this district, and there are many brilliant teachers in this school system that deserve accolades, including Ms. Crate. Waterford schools have supported my children in both academic and social emotional learning spanning from elementary to high school, which I'm very proud of. I'm here today because of the information point during last month's meeting regarding a consent agreement between Waterford Police Department and the Waterford School District to place a drone on the bus depot. For several reasons, I have concerns about this agreement. First, I resent the implication that our township is so unsafe that our own police department is unable to do the job without the interference of a private corporation. Data security is important, and Flock Safety is a proven bad actor. A quick search of the internet will show you that Flock has been abused by police to stalk their intimate partners, and Flock employees have abused the system to observe gymnastics centers, pools, and fitness studios. We would be depending on the benevolence of this corporation to disclose a breach, as a 2-factor system that they use is able to be spoofed. Not all 2-factor systems are equal, and the 2-factor that they use would not protect our community from these kinds of breaches. A friend of mine works in cybersecurity and was tasked with the system to hack into Flock through her company, legally, of course, and she was able to hack into that within a matter of hours. Now, this is, again, a company trying to do things in furtherance of our community. They're not trying to do anything bad specifically against Flock. This is testing for our community, safety for our community. You can go onto YouTube, and the first search, you can find how to hack these things. It's very concerning that Flock is being deployed so ubiquitously throughout our township. Now, I know that this is specifically in regards to the drone. We owe it to our children and ourselves as citizens to take the deployment of surveillance technology seriously. Without a legislative framework to guide these technologies, we're all at risk of the consequences of the motto that big tech has, which is to move fast and break things. Is that something a government body should do? Is that something that our community should risk? These are questions we need to ask ourselves. The undersheriff last month highlighted that insurance will be placed on the drones to alleviate risk, yet we're told that this program will cost us nothing as the taxpayers, because it comes from their discretionary fund. That's still an expense on dollars that could be used to shore up our community without mass surveillance. Why is this the only solution we can muster to infringe upon our most sacred rights? Most concerning of all is the bizarre behavior that I have witnessed surrounding this agenda item. We have district employees lying to the public, saying that this has been voted on. There have been attempts of damage control by township board members on local Facebook pages. We all know that there's no free lunch. FOIA has been submitted to Waterford, Waterford Township, and Oakland County, and they're all returning with huge invoices. What are you hiding? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hunt. Jack Blaylock? Jack Blaylock?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Jack Blaylock. I have 2 daughters in the district. I grew up here. I've been here my whole life. I wish this was a Q&A because I have a lot of questions I'd like to ask you guys. I know that's not the situation we're in. She said most of what I wanted to say. I would just like to add a few other things. That Flock itself has been very deceptive, as I believe many of you have been deceptive as well. I don't think most of the public, maybe you guys know the extent of Flock's surveillance network. Adding a drone in the district opens up a door. You know, we give an inch and there's a mile taken, and it always goes that way, always. Every FedEx truck on the road in the US has a Flock camera in it. Every corner we turn, there's a Flock camera. So what is this drone, why does it need to be stationed there would be my question to you. I know you're not going to answer it. That's okay, that's fine. That's something to think about. So I don't have much else to say other than that Flock is deceptive. Search the internet. Like she said, you can go to Instagram and check out @BenJordan, BENN, there's 2 N's there. Look at some of the work he's done, how he's hacked into their systems very easily, and how he's uncovered Flock's own personnel accessing inappropriate areas, like she stated, such as children's gymnastics areas, public pools. It's just not a good company to be working with. I'm not comfortable with it. That's me personally. I think there's a lot of people that aren't able to be here tonight that share the same feeling that I feel. Just wanted all of you to know that me as a person, I'm completely against it. The company is deceptive, and you, Mr. Martin, you sound like you work for Flock, the way you pitched that. So that's all I have to say. Have a good night. Thank you.
All right, Thomas Hendrickson. Thomas Hendrickson.
Can you guys hear me okay? First of all, thank you for the time this evening. I did want to express my concern with having a drone, especially one based on our school grounds, because, you know, like everybody said before, give an inch, take a mile. You know, the Patriot Act is only going to be used to surveil foreign nationals, right? We saw how that went, thanks Snowden. And as Ben Franklin once said, those who would trade liberty for safety deserve neither. And this is the slow encroachment of a company that is laying the groundwork for mass surveillance. And I know this is just a drone that's going to respond to disasters all over the county, but as our first speaker said, I resent the concept that we need a drone to surveil disasters and that our township can't handle that with their own current infrastructure. I have a son in an elementary school, and I do not want this to be the first step of Flock getting their talons, pardon the pun, into our school community. Because right now it's just a drone in a bus yard, next it's gonna be a camera in a playground, and then we go back to Flock employees and whoever else on the internet, quite frankly, that wants to look at my kid running around, and I'm not okay with that. Categorically not okay with cameras or this company being involved in our school district. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Serenity Williams.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Hello, Serenity. Welcome back.
For those that don't know, last time I was here, I was a recipient of the Legacy Builders Award. And I did say that I plan to change the world, but I do live in Waterford, so I'll start here. I know it might get repetitive for you guys, but I think we should retract and take time to think about whether or not current implementations are contributing more to the issue rather than it is contributing to the solution. I'm not here to change any minds, but to speak my own. If we listen to no one else, please listen to the vast majority of individuals who are worried, students. I didn't even know a meeting was happening today. I was in second hour. A student came up to me, worried, Serenity, you have to go to the school board meeting today. I'm like, what's going on? And they fill me in, and I'm like, I'll be there. So right now, I feel like I'm fulfilling my duty. I'm not sure if anyone here has read 1984 by George Orwell, but currently, I'm reading it right now out of my own volition. And I think a lot of the concepts can be applicable to the world we live in now. This is a quote from George Orwell's 1984. "Freedom is slavery, war is peace, and ignorance is strength." I don't believe any of you up here have any bad intentions for the people of Waterford. I don't think you guys are up here like, yeah, let's do this. You know, let's put these people in a bad predicament. But I feel like intent doesn't always negate impact. You can think one thing by implementing something, but it may affect a group of people as another. And that's one thing I learned as a student at Waterford Mott High School. Please take your time and reflect. Let it sink in, guys. I'm done. Thank you.
Thanks, Serenity. All right, Kim Mosey. Kim Mosey.
Hi, everyone. How are you guys tonight? Thank you for having me, and sorry I filled out the little coupon incorrectly. This young lady that was just before your podium is a beautiful monument to the education of this community. Not only is the teacher that was before us with Superintendent Adam giving that, so I don't have a big, well-prepared speech. My initial was to best understand the agenda that was presented, and it was slightly modified prior to opening it up to the audience this evening. We are a free country. There's a lot of turmoil, a lot of beauty that I feel that I've witnessed this evening from your community members. I think that this needs more thought, not that you as professionals and volunteers of our community, some are paid, don't recognize. But we are in a huge speed of AI intelligence. It is moving faster than light. And to take pause is worthy. I'm 50 years old now, and the best thing that I've done in my life is to take pause, because I wanted to rush to raise my children as best as I could, and the good Lord above helps you with that. But your educators do. The individuals that we entrust in our community, and you are those of us, it's okay to take pause. Am I saying it's wrong, what's on the proposal this evening? No, but I struggle with saying that it's absolutely correct. That's where I am as a 20-year-old or 20-year community member, is if you could consider to take pause. Because I truly believe that it's bigger. It's much bigger. The policies would be nice to see. I work as a professional with boards of directors. You guys are heroes in one for contributing your time, your education, your knowledge, and so forth. But make sure you got it right. That's what I ask of you. If you're voting this in, get it right. Have your I's dotted, your T's crossed, because each of your names are going on it. And thank you very much for this time.
Thank you. Rebecca Brown?
Thank you for your patience. I'm here to represent myself and a mother who couldn't be here tonight because she works and she has a family, like so many others who weren't able to attend tonight. She says, and I quote, "Flock is unproven and unwarranted. I ask you to vote no today." She has 2 kids in the district and 1 in college, and she represents to me more than just herself this evening, and I want to represent more than just myself as well. I think in the words of Serenity, there were a lot of students here today also who don't have the opportunity to represent themselves, but I think it's important that we protect them as minors. And I think it's very important that we understand what it is that we're up against and what protection of children looks like today. Because I think we have in our mind this idea that protection of children looks like looking out for the bad guys and seeing what's happening. But the bad guys already know what's happening, and now we have new eyes. And I've heard a couple people mention this idea that they can be hacked, the cameras that is, that Flock cameras can be hacked. And I think hack is way too strong of a word to describe how you get into these cameras. It is so stupidly simple, it's almost embarrassing. And in fact, it is embarrassing. It requires no technical skill, prowess, or capacity. This is not some sort of like elite group of technology-oriented individuals that have like newfound skills since this technology came out. They are utilizing existing resources and something as easy as a hyperlink. And it's really, really, really important that we protect democracy and autonomy first and foremost, in my opinion, especially at a time like this. It's really important. It's really important. I used this analogy earlier, and I think it bears repeating. If we consider the trolley problem as a philosophical dilemma, we have this picture of a theoretical kidnapped child, right? We want to protect this child. We want to get them quickly home ASAP, right? We need it. To pull the lever towards that kidnapped child, we compromise and we sacrifice and we trample the autonomy and the security of all of the children, and we further implement Flock safety in programs that has no business being in. They are an untrustworthy company. They are a company that we will look back on in, I will say, even 5 years. We don't have to go 5, 10, 15, 50. We will know within 5 years what a mistake it will be to partner as a country with this company. So heed the warning.
Thank you for your time. Leanne Farr? I'm not sure, is it Farnat? It's Farhat. Okay. Farhat. Leanne. Liana. Yeah. Okay, sorry.
That's okay.
There's always that chance that we're going to mispronounce things when people
That's okay.
fill out the cards. All right,
So
you have the podium.
I am Leanna, and I have 2 kids in Waterford School District, and my oldest is in 8th grade, and he started at Stepanski, so we've been here quite some time, about 10 years. I learned about this today on TikTok, and from somebody that I don't know. It just happened to come across my phone, and I will admit that I don't do my due diligence with these meetings, and that is going to be a problem that I solve from here on out. But I decided to spend the day looking into Flock, and I will say that it really only took me like 20 minutes to grow really concerned. And I would hope that because you guys are in a position of power and you know that you have responsibility, that you have also done this. I'm really sorry. I apologize for being shaky. I didn't really come here prepared to speak. But it really kind of upset me that this was even kind of an option, because I looked into it and it didn't really take me very long to come to the conclusion that it's a company that is essentially a pay-to-play platter for weirdos. It's also very clearly a surveillance state to target immigrants. And I just don't see the benefit. Obviously, we have a lot of people that see the risks, and it's easy to say that might not be true. You guys are being dramatic. Everybody likes to be hysterical, which may be true sometimes. But I think if you are not getting any kind of monetary gain, if it's not improving our students or our community, I don't know if you guys know this, but several of our libraries are actually closed because we don't have librarians, because we don't have funds to pay them, which means that if you're above 5th grade, then you might not have access to a library. So I just think that we have a few too many problems to look inward in the district than to focus on things that are really concerning at best. Not beneficial to our district in any way. And police departments are severely overfunded already, and they really don't need Waterford School District's help, I promise. Thank you.
All right, Devin Hunt. Devin Hunt.
Good evening. I am Devin Hunt. I'm a parent of 3 students in Waterford. I can repeat everything that everyone's already said. I've listened to your statement, which was wildly aggressive for whatever reason. My big concern is it's 7:19 in the evening, and we're discussing this, and we have teachers and principals and school staff that has students that can't read, that are falling behind academically, and that can't even get their students into school enough to really make an impact on their lives. And this is what we're discussing. And it's really not necessary. We don't need another drone. The Oakland County Sheriff has drones, and if the police need a drone, they have plenty of their own areas to put it. It doesn't need to be on our school property. Our school doesn't need to be involved in the Flock program. Why? Why does a private company need to have a drone on our schools? It's already been proven that the police access them inappropriately, and Flock employees themselves access them inappropriately. A Flock employee spent almost an entire day watching children at a gymnasium. And you can say that these safeguards are in effect, and you can put that on paper, but that paper doesn't mean anything. Just because you say they can't do it because it's wrong, they're gonna do it anyway. So can we just discuss things that are important? Like how we can get libraries in our schools and get students to our schools, get them fed, make sure that they're comforted, they're happy, and they're learning. Because Waterford is falling behind, drastically falling behind the state, in a state that is also falling behind educationally. And you're failing by wasting our time talking about this. And that's all.
All right, we are now going to move on to the consent agenda. Unless there are objections, the consent agenda will be approved as presented. Colleagues, are we good with the consent agenda? Everyone on this end good? All right. We are now going to move on to information items, our operating millage update with Mrs. Davis.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, members of the board and the community. My name is Sarah Davis. I'm the Director of Communications for Waterford School District. And tonight I am pleased to present the communications and marketing campaign for the 2026 non-homestead millage replacement that we will be putting on the August 4th ballot. As we know, this millage is a foundational piece of funding for Waterford School District. And so my department's primary objective is to ensure that every resident understands that this is a replacement and not a new tax on primary residents. With absentee ballots available on June 25th and Election Day on August 4th, the campaign we have created is set to take us starting from basically now all the way through the end of the campaign and a little bit, until Election Day and a little bit thereafter. So phase one of the plan will be the educational piece, which really runs the entire length of the campaign. We will start officially the week of April 27th, and that gives us 5 targeted weeks before school gets out to engage with our parents and staff while they're still with our buildings or in our buildings. It is at that time that we will launch a dedicated election webpage that will serve as information for the community. We will also begin sharing materials with our principals to distribute to staff and parent communities, such as newsletter articles. We'll have social media posts and a variety of other promotions. We will produce a sequence of brief informational reels about the millage. This, we're going to shift away from the single lengthy video that we kind of did in the past. I believe that reels, or they do, get more engagement, they're shorter, people listen to the entire thing, and so we're going to make a couple different ones of those to try to boost engagement as far as that goes. We have additionally begun planning our roadshow where Adam and I will meet face-to-face with community members and answer any questions. We're going to go to the Rotary Club, Optimist Club, Chamber of Commerce, Senior Center. We will talk to our district parent council in May. I will be at the Chamber Business Expo, May 7th at Mott High School with some information at that table as well for those people that are participating in that event. And anything else that might come our way. And then immediately after the 4th of July holiday, in addition to what I have already mentioned, so all of that is still going on, we're really going to put even more of a visual impact for voters out there. We're going to have the banners on the overpasses, lawn signs at schools and at homes. We're going to do a paid social media ad campaign, and we'll have digital and print ads in the Oakland Press as well. Then finally, on August 5th, regardless of the results, we will have a thank you campaign ready to launch for our community. And as you all already know, there is a school enhancement millage that's also going to be on the same ballot. So my department's priority is going to be to promote the non-homestead millage, but of course, we're also going to promote materials comparing the two. We're going to have some information on our election webpage to help voters understand the difference between the two and hope it try to be a little bit less confusing. And then lastly, I will present at every board meeting up through August, probably up until the one after the election, to provide reports on how the campaign is going, different things we've been doing, and you're welcome to ask any questions throughout the process. That's all I have for tonight. Any questions now?
Colleagues, do we have questions? Member McGregor?
So one of the things that I am concerned about with voting is some of the postal changes. Are we going to help to kind of inform voters of that to make sure that if they mail in ballots, they know that their ballot gets in on time? Or
I mean, we will have information on our election webpage that links to the clerk's office and places where they can find that information.
Perfect. Okay, that's what I want to make sure, because I just don't want people to be like, well, why?
Right, yes.
Why didn't this work out the way I thought it would? Thank you.
Yeah, yep.
All right, colleagues, do we have any other questions regarding the campaign? All right, thank you so much, Mrs. Davis. We appreciate it.
Yep.
All right, we are going to move on to our elementary pilot classroom furniture with Assistant Superintendent Hildebrandt. And it looks like are you coming up too to help present, Mrs. Goje?
I am.
All right.
You get to hear me twice tonight.
Yay.
Good evening, trustees and community. We are pleased to bring forth an informational item for elementary pilot classroom furniture. This has been a very lengthy process. We've been working on it for months. I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge the stellar work by French and Associates with helping with the furniture fair, and the dedicated work of Elizabeth next to me with surveys and everything else that she's done. And what I wanted to do is go through what the process involved. So we started with teacher input via survey. We had a reach out campaign where we went to our teachers, all of our elementary teachers, and provided pictures of different furnitures to get their input as to what they would be interested in. It has been decades since we've had new elementary classroom furniture. Elizabeth, maybe you want to expand a little bit on that first survey?
Yeah, so that survey allowed the teachers to see kind of what was possible, because as Karen just said, it's been decades. So it was really providing them the opportunity to see what the options were, from soft seating to hard seating, from classroom storage, from mobile classroom storage, and even from mobile desks to where teachers can move with a laptop. It really allowed them to see that from a picture view. We had just a little bit over 70% of our teachers participate in that survey, which is huge. It did show us right away that we are on the right track in doing this pilot program. And I'll let Karen share a little bit more of what the process looked like next.
So after the survey, we worked with French and Associates to design a furniture fair. We wanted our teachers, staff, and students to be able to come in, touch, feel, and see furniture. The furniture is under a cooperative bid from 3 different vendors. Every vendor is using the same cooperative bid. So I want to be clear with that. It wasn't, the pricing is flat with that cooperative bid, but we wanted to invite 3 of the main vendors, which are National Business Solutions, NBS, Interior Environments, IE, and Duell, which are 3 of the players included in your packet. It indicates different districts that they've worked with, where they've been awarded contracts. They all have a strong reputation and have a presence with doing this type of feature. Each one of those vendors had a dedicated classroom where they had the survey results. They could set it up based on how they interpreted that, and the staff could come in for a whole week, visit on their own time, look at this, and or ask questions of the vendors. There were survey stickers for each one of the different vendors to say, hey, use your color sticker and tell us what you like, so that we visually then could tally up to say, where are we seeing some commonality in terms of what everybody's looking for. Then there was an after the furniture fair survey again, and I'm going to turn it over to Elizabeth to talk about the after survey.
So the after survey, we quickly went through each room and videoed so people could know which room we were talking about, so they could remember. And then they were able in that survey to identify which vendor drew them the most. And within that, we also had an opportunity to open some open-ended questions. Like, okay, so you're telling us that you love MBS, or you liked Duell, or you liked IE. Why? We really wanted that opportunity to be that why piece. And a lot of it was really they were drawn to it for a variety of different reasons, whether it was the comfort of the seating, the ergonomics, the flexibility, the durability. But by all means, MBS was the outcomer in that, based on that survey. The other piece to that, based on all of that, and I hope I'm not stealing your thunder on this one, is after that, we did a survey with our students. So we've allowed our students to see and kind of mirrored both surveys together and either do a whole group, so even our JK and our kindergartners can be involved, or they were able to do it individually on their Chromebook. So for the last week, they were able to put their input into this as well to see where they would drive, because we really want to come not just from the teacher lens, but also the student lens. And I shared with Karen, and today, I was in a couple buildings this week. Of course, it's assessment season, but I heard from third grade classrooms and some fifth grade classrooms asking me where their data is from that survey, which they will be getting next week. So it was really awesome to hear and see that. And we also heard some great positive feedback from the teachers based on their experiences and their experiences with their students and the conversations they had.
So after all this was compiled together, French and Associates received best and final offers. Not only are we getting the cooperative bid price, but the firms were competing against each other with additional discounts to the district. And what, at the end of the day, NBS came back with the best. It was 35% additional off, or I'm sorry, 33%. The cooperative bid is 35% off. Then there's an additional 33% off. In addition to that, they were offering us 4 classrooms free. So at the end of all this, we're looking at 13 classrooms to open up this fall across multiple elementary buildings so that different teachers, it can be different setup, fee, use it in real life, real learning, so we can get some valid feedback during this next upcoming year. We're getting those 13 classrooms for the price of 5. And we're seeking approval tonight as well for this to award so we can hit our timeline, so that everything can be ordered timely. And included in your package is also that timeline that includes this informational date all the way up through rolling out which classrooms to the teachers. So you have all that information. That timeline goes from April, right this week, today, to the pilot installation in August. And at the August Professional Learning Day in August, the teachers will then see their classrooms and be directly involved. We're really, really excited about this. This isn't the end. This is the elementary pilot classrooms. We will also be touching the secondary buildings, but we have to do this piecemeal. So I want everyone in the community to understand it's not just elementary. We're looking across the board. We also need to put our lens into our specialized classrooms, our special needs classrooms. We want to touch everything. This is just our first initial pilot. Now I'd like to open it up for questions.
Colleagues, do we have questions?
I'm just reading all this, so.
Okay.
I don't like that. Not if I have to move on tonight. So we're piloting in the elementaries, and we're talking and reading here, 142 classrooms. Would that be just elementary? Are we looking at junior high, high school, or is it just elementary that we're talking about?
So for this upcoming fall, we'll have the 13 classrooms that will be live hands-on. And then in the fall of '27, a full rollout to every elementary classroom for general ed. We have yet to work on all of the requirements and the needs for our special needs rooms and for our encore rooms. Art's going to have a different need, music will have a different need, but we want to make sure that everything gets touched. So this upcoming fall of '26, we'll have these 13 classrooms as pilot. If everything goes as great as what we hope, then fall of '27, we're going to roll it out to every elementary classroom.
And again, the 13 classrooms, I'm looking at approximately 130,000.
Correct.
That's a big amount. I remember elementary schools, we've had this type of desk, that type of desk. What has changed that much? Do they get that beat up? I mean, I know I drew pictures on them and, this and that. We had the lids that opened I thought were dangerous way back in the 60s. I'm presuming we don't have them anymore.
Correct.
Good. Feel better about that.
But it has been a long time since we've refreshed the furniture. This is more flexible for more flexible instructional learning. It can then move based on the needs of that classroom, whether it's to sit and get or to actually participate in a small group setting. It's durable furniture. I believe every catalog is primarily steel case furniture. This will last us for decades again. And that's why we want to make the right decision.
Which is probably still in someone's basement somewhere, they bought it at garage sales. But again, this is just, there's a lot, again, I'm looking at, a small amount of classrooms now and then all of them next year. I have a utilization study that we're going to be getting information on later this year. Without that information, again, we need to get going on 9 of them. It seems like a terrific amount of money for furniture. Again, I'm surprised by it. I'm just reading it, so it's not absorbing it real well.
Okay.
But thank you for your explanations.
Welcome.
Member McGregor?
So first, I wanted to say, I do appreciate the effort that went into this, because clearly there was a lot of effort. And a lot of detail, so I appreciate that. I also had a question in terms of, so the numbers that we're looking at here on our budget, these are for the initial classrooms. If we were to move forward, would that money also be coming out of the bond as well? Do we have enough to cover everything?
Yes.
For that period? Okay.
We do. This was part of the bond campaign, and it is fully set aside. The monies are there to cover this furniture need. We want to avoid any, I understand in the past, perhaps it was promised and wasn't able to be delivered. This money is secured for the furnitures.
Perfect. Thank you. Yeah,
welcome.
because that's one thing I've heard a lot is that about the furniture, so it is something that clearly people want and need. So, thank you.
I do have a question in regards to the pilot program. So I know that we are getting 13 classrooms for the cost of 5. We'll have the full year for our students and our teachers to use the furniture, see how it works in our classrooms. I assume we're keeping those 13 classrooms, so it's not like we are getting the 13 classrooms for 5, we're spending the money and we have to give the furniture back.
No.
We are keeping that furniture. So it is a good savings to the district, because essentially we're getting 7 classrooms outfitted for free. So that was my first question. My other question is, I know that we'll have this pilot program through the year. We'll look to roll out the furniture for fall of ’27 for the elementary buildings. When do we anticipate having the pilot program set up for the secondary buildings?
I don't have that calendared yet. I have to see how this rolls out this fall to make sure that we don't make a misstep. In my perfect world, we would have secondary pilot rooms next fall along with the rollout for elementary. But that may be too big of an ask for the installation and some of the other components within it. I will say that even on the pilot rooms, the 4 that are free, the furniture is free, but we still have to pay a small setup fee. So it's not like you can take that $125,000, divide by 7 and say this is the cost, because there's other intangible amounts that go with each one.
Okay, and in the bond, because I do know that the bond is covering the elementary classrooms, is that money also set aside to cover the secondary classrooms and the special education classrooms as well?
It is. I've held that funding.
Okay,
for
so
that.
we will be completely covered through the 2020 bond to cover all of the furniture that we will need for the district?
Correct.
All right, thank you so much. Member Torres?
So with the pilot, and we'll roll it out this year, and then with the idea of moving forward larger in 2027, what happens if this furniture doesn't work out, right? We don't like it. Where do we go? Do we go back to one of the other vendors? Do we roll out another pilot?
So let's say that this is, I'm not going to say it, but let's say that it doesn't work the way we intended. Perhaps it doesn't work well with this selected vendor. If we decided not to go forth with NBS, we could go to either the other 2 vendors, but we would have to pay the $40,000 for those 4 classrooms that we received, okay? So they're giving us the 4, but it's with
The condition.
right, I didn't sign anything on our behalf, but that's what they're seeking, so I understand that's what they're seeking. If we were wrong, if that furniture goes in there and the teachers and the students all say, yuck, we can start over again. We are not committed beyond this.
And then to the effect of the furniture and it being different from how it was probably in my day when we had blackboards, we have smart boards now. Kids learn in different ways, so I'm a big believer in the investment in that classroom and the furnitures and just the nuanced things that help support the way the children learn. Because now we have smart boards, we have videos that can pop right up, all these kinds of things. So I'm excited about the furniture. So I'm hoping that it works out. We can roll this out and expand.
Thank you.
All right. Do we have any other comments or questions? Member Donahue?
I guess one question that I would have is we have these 13 classrooms as the pilot classrooms for it. And if we were to start moving ahead to order for the other, the other 131 classrooms that we would need, that's a big ask, that's a big order with these companies to do that. So just as a principal who literally just had their whole building redone with new furniture this past year, I would think that you would have to bring that ask to us in January or February at the latest in order to get that order in order to have everything ready to go, delivered, and installed by the time school starts in August of '27.
Correct.
Okay, so we're really looking at,
It'd be really the first semester and making sure everything's great.
Okay.
If it's all great, then we'll start outfitting for the rest of the classrooms.
Okay.
And we are sticking to the standard Waterford colors and not particular school building colors, so the pieces will be quite interchangeable.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Member Stitch?
So what we have in front of us is for the 13 classrooms. So if this all works out well and we look forward to extending this into all the other classrooms, what are those prices going to look like? So what I'm asking is, do we have a picture of what those costs will be? Because it seems like we're getting a pretty generous deal here. We approve this, everything looks good, we go forward, and then are we going to be sort of slapped in the face with a whole bunch, with a completely different cost schedule?
So we should, what's in the budget is approximately $20,000 per classroom. Not every classroom will have the same needs. Some of our classrooms in our elementary buildings currently don't need teacher desks. And so there's different variables that will be in play. There is appropriate amount of funding within the bond that is set aside for all of these needs.
So my concern is, what about the quotes, what they're
The
bidding
quotes.
us at?
Well, it's a consortium bid, so we've got, NBS agreed, the 35% off is off the standard catalog price, then an additional 33% off. That's in writing. Then not just for these 13, if we proceed down with the rest, that will apply to the rest as well.
Okay, so those discounts we're committed to those discounts in writing, should we go forward?
Correct.
I will say I do absolutely appreciate that we are sticking with the standard colors of our school district, because I think that that's so important to make sure that it's streamlined and that all the buildings have that look and that feel, and that it's interchangeable. So I do appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
For that. Colleagues, do we have any more comments or questions? All right, well, thank you so much. We appreciate it. And we are going to stay with Assistant Superintendent Hildebrandt for our notice of public hearing.
So good evening again. We have a requirement to post an ad in advance of our annual budget. So in your package tonight is the informational item with the draft of the ad for the upcoming 26-27 school budget so that we can appropriately post it pursuant to the law that governs it.
All right, do we have any questions in regard to the public hearing? All right, thank you. And we are now, I just flipped my page, I want to make sure I'm on the right page. We are now moving on to the Oakland Schools 2026-2027 budget. Are we ready for this? Yes, this is my piece. Are we all ready? It's our favorite piece, is the Oakland Schools budget. The Board of Education is in receipt of the Oakland Schools General Fund budget documents for fiscal year 2026-2027 for review. A designates meeting will be held on April 20th, providing local board designates as opportunity to hear a presentation and ask questions prior to finalizing a resolution on or before June 1st. If members have specific questions, please forward them prior to April 20th. A recommendation to approve a resolution in support or disapproval of the proposed budget will be presented for action on May 21st. All right. And then my assumption is we will definitely have a broader discussion, as we always do, in regards to the Oakland Schools budget. So that's just to make sure that if there are any questions, if we can have that before the 20th, that would be appreciative. We're going to move on to new business with Secretary Ristich.
Okay, Superintendent Recommendation 442526, revised policy 7440.03, small unmanned aircraft systems. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve revised policy 7440.03, small unmanned aircraft systems. I so move.
Support.
All right, this is in regards to our policy language. So the motion has been moved and supported. Are there any questions or comments? Member McGregor?
Just for future, because I know this was there were some questions that I had in reading through it, and I want to make sure that I'm not sure who to direct this to, but I want to confirm that the language that was written by Neola specifically discussed staff members, and I believe that was to delineate between the difference in FAA rules for recreational versus civil piloting. And I just want to make sure we have some follow-up on that, because the whole point, I believe, for Neola putting that together, or at least one of the points, in my opinion, and reading through the history, is that they wanted to make that delineation clear, and I want to make sure that we have kept that in our new wording.
And, I was just going to say, Megan, you have the new wording. Is it within, it's in here. So if you would like to read through that, that might be helpful. Or would it be helpful if we read through it just so even publicly everyone could hear that?
Should I read the whole?
Yeah, I know it's,
Okay.
do you really want to read it? Do you want me to read it all?
I don't mind. That's
Okay.
I just want to make sure.
Okay, yeah, I just thought maybe that would be helpful, because then we can hear and we can make sure that it's in there. I know that we've all had a chance to review it, but it might be helpful just to hear it out loud, because sometimes, I know for me, if I read things, I can catch if it's something, if we have questions. And I think it's a very valid question to make sure that we are covered.
Thank you. So let's see, policy number 7440.03, small unmanned aircraft systems. The board prohibits the operation of small unmanned aircraft systems, UAS, at any time by any individual who is not, we struck through, employed by the district, as well as by any district staff member or administrator who is not, that's the end of the strike through, expressly authorized to do so by the superintendent on the property owned or leased or contracted by the board. The board also prohibits the operation of SUAS, drone, on property owned or leased or contracted for by the board during district-sponsored contests, including scrimmages and previews, practices, tournaments, and activities under the auspices of the Michigan High School Athletic Association, MHSAA. District officials may deny admission or entry to anyone attempting to use a SUAS until the event has been completed. Excuse me. Any exceptions to this prohibition must be approved in advance by the superintendent. To be authorized to operate a drone on property owned or leased or contracted for by the board, struck out a staff member or administrator replaced with the individual must have a remote pilot certificate issued by the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA. Further, the drone must be registered with the FAA and properly marked in accordance with 14 CFR Part 107. Okay, this part is struck through. A staff member or administrator replaced with anyone authorized to operate a drone on property owned or leased or contracted for by the board must also comply with all rules set forth in 14 CFR Part 107, CAG 7440.03. And I believe that's referring to the Attorney General letter. Failure to adhere by all rules set forth in 14 CFR Part 107 and AG 7440.03 may result in loss of authorization to operate a drone to operate on property owned or leased or contracted for by the board, referral to local law enforcement, and/or further disciplinary action up to including termination. And that's the 2009 version from Neola. So, yeah, the other part, so I was concerned about that, and to be honest, like, I don't know if you can, where it's striking through a staff member or administrator, I believe that delineation was in there because as I was reading through the CFR, it's specifically talking about if somebody is compensated, it changes which type of license they need, including our teachers, including a police officer, all of those things. And I just want to make sure that we give it a moment and read it, just make sure that it's right. And I know we have to decide on this right now for the next decision, but I think it's worth it to come back if we haven't, What I'm trying to say.
If I could please ask the audience to be respectful of our meeting. It's difficult for us to have discussions when people are yelling out. So we would appreciate if we could have this discussion as a board. Thank you.
What I am trying to say is that I think it is important that we go back through this and make sure that the wording is proper. Whatever we decide to do today, we need to make sure that we've covered that we are complying with the law regardless. The other item that I did want to bring up is I think that it's important, however we proceed with this, clearly, and not just from this meeting, from the Oakland County meeting that I was at, people are very concerned about this topic. I was there until after midnight. It was a very long night. And one of the concerns that people brought forward was the concern about transparency. And however we move forward with this, I think that we need to have something in place to make sure that these approvals provide transparency to the public, that there is some way for them to understand what the repercussions are for their family. Because that's what I kept hearing over and over, is that they want, that the parents that were there or the public in general that were there want to be able to make decisions for their kids, their family member, whoever, the best way that they can, given what is going on around them. And you can do that by transparency.
I think the first thing that we need to go through, because we need to follow our agenda and how our business of order is constructed, is we need to go through first this policy. And we can open up that discussion because we did find after the last meeting that there was some potential that it could be interpreted incorrectly. Neola obviously is followed state and federal law is written into our Neola policies. So I do believe that piece of it is covered because we have to by law follow law. But I do definitely want to open up the floor to all of our colleagues so that we can go through the changes in this policy and make sure that we are all comfortable with the changes. Member Sonnekrant.
Who created the document? Was it created by our attorney?
It was created by Neola originally, which is
Who made the changes?
The changes were made with our administration, who also, they did, I don't know which one of our attorneys would have been contacted because we have so many different groups. They could speak to that before I could. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, we updated it.
We updated it so there wouldn't be interpretation. And this policy isn't regarding, is not in regards to flock. It's a policy that we've had on record with our district for multiple years. We just wanted to update some of the language so that it always, because we've had drone camps here in our district, we've done multiple things. Media Network does a lot of different things where they take pictures of our facilities, and that is the Media Network. So we just wanted to make sure that it was covered so that we weren't doing anything that would potentially create a larger problem. So I do want to open it up the floor to my colleagues. Do we have other questions in regards to the policy? Member Torres?
Yeah, my statement is that, I mean, with all due respect, I'm going to vote no.
But this is in respect to the policy. Okay, I just want to make sure that we're talking about the policy.
I'm voting no on the policy.
The law?
Yeah,
Okay.
Neola, yeah. No, and I'm not trying to get anything out of it. I am because I am concerned about drones on our school properties, and it is an issue to me, and I'll talk more on the next agenda item, but that's why I'm going to vote no.
And I do want to clearly stress that this is law. This is why this policy has been in our policies. This is not a new district policy. The only thing that we are changing is some of the references. Instead of staff member or administrator, it would be the individual. So the policy in itself is following law as reference to the Attorney General and to the other notations in here. So we can't dismiss the entire policy because we do need to have this policy in place. Member Sonnekrant?
I'm good with the original policy.
Okay.
But I'm uncomfortable with the changes without it going back to Neola or an attorney looking it over.
Okay.
Because I feel that we're not being responsible if we don't have that done.
Absolutely. And if we were to change it back, there was just concern about the interpretation, but this would not have any impact or impede our ability to move forward with the next agenda item, correct? Member McGregor?
So that was the concern that I brought up. This is, and I don't know, there may have been other discussion, but part of my concern in particular was the way that I read this policy, and this is what I brought up at the last board meeting, is that it does, the way I interpret it, does not allow somebody who's not a member of our staff to pilot a drone on our property. That's the way I interpreted it. And that was my concern that I brought up, because regardless of which way we vote, we can't vote against our policy, right? So if we choose, and I don't know how the board is going to vote, it hasn't happened yet, right? But whatever we end up doing, we have to comply with our own policies. And that was the point that I was trying to bring up in this. And also, obviously, like, these policies are here for a reason. So I want to make sure, because that's how my brain works, I want to make sure we're compliant. I want to make sure that we're dotting the i's and crossing the t's on things.
I think Megan or Superintendent Martin would be best to speak to this, because I know that we have had, Barton Mallow has used drones on our property to take pictures of Stepanski during our construction. Like I referenced before, Media Network, which is the local cable channel that is also in our district, has used drones to take pictures, not just of our district, but of Hess Hathaway and other things. Again, my children have attended a drone camp that was supported and facilitated through the district. So I want to make sure that since we've had this policy in place, that we have been complying with it, because we have had other incidents where people have used drones on our property that we have been able to give permission to. So I do think the two of you could speak to that, or Megan might have the historical background in regards to the policy.
So I can assure.
Again, I would appreciate if the audience, if you're going to continue to interrupt the meeting, we unfortunately would not be able to have you in the audience. Again, we are just trying to discuss the policy, and we're trying to do it in a way best so that we can all understand the policy and make sure that it's complying with law. So I do ask the audience to please give us at least that opportunity to do this, or unfortunately you would have to be removed from the audience.
Yeah, Barton Mallow, Media Network have had drones that have been flown here. Again, as it reads, they're authorized to do so by the superintendent. So the past practice and interpretation of this has been that non-employees have had permission to be able to have drones on our properties, yes.
Okay.
And when the question was raised last time, that was the response given. Our past practice has been non-employees have had authorization to do so with superintendent approval.
Okay.
So in this case, playing that forward, if the board approves, then you are approving the superintendent to provide that access, yes.
Okay, so, and Rob, you probably have more historical knowledge being on the board, but this is a policy that we've had in place. We've always, and it has been kind of the understanding that if the board has relinquished the approval to the superintendent to have the ability to authorize if there is another entity to use drones on our property.
Right, and
Okay.
Barton Mallow coming on our property to do some sketch work for a construction company or for construction or a project. I'm unsure from a timely perspective that the board wants to be approving each and every one of those instances.
Okay.
Which is why it was written this way.
Okay, so that, having that definitely does help with being able to, so I believe, from my understanding, the administration was looking at trying to just kind of clean up the possibility it might be interpreted, but if we are okay, the policy, how it stands, is following what Neola, which is the law that they have recommended and has been our longstanding policy. So not changing the policy has no impact on our ability to move forward with the next agenda item.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my interpretation, and that is the interpretation that I believe the district has used prior to my arrival. Yep.
Okay, great. Member Petruccia, you had a question? I'm sorry.
No, it's, again, the superintendent then, if there's someone flying a drone, the superintendent knows who it is. I don't need to know who it is because he's in charge of my district. He's the person that oversees day-to-day operation. If someone were to have hacked a drone, they have gone against our policy and broken the law. If it were, oh, I'm an employee of the district because I'm a lunch person, I can do these things. Well, maybe not without the permission of the superintendent that knows who is flying things. And to throw a big stick in the pot, because that's what I like to do, we have, Megan, give me, or someone that's in charge of the schools, how many cameras do we have in our schools?
A lot.
Hundreds. Again, I remember when we put cameras on our garbage cans. I thought that was stupid. Why are we putting cameras by the garbage cans? Well, that's where people would maybe go out to smoke. We would have people dropping off their junk and stuff at our garbage cans. I mean, there's a reason for all these things. But to say that, oh, we don't want someone taking a picture, they're there every day, the hallways. We have a lot. And we started out with 15 or 20, and I know that we've gone up a lot from there. So it's amazing that the concern, and again, but this is just a policy saying, we want my superintendent, the person in charge of my district, saying, hey, I know who's flying drones and who isn't, because I said yes. And that cleans it up. This language here just makes it much simpler to me, well, I'm an employee of the district, I have authority. Not unless the superintendent says you do. And that's what this cleans up. It makes it much simpler. One person to answer to instead of one of our, custodians is, doing whatever. This gives you responsibility. I hold you responsible for knowing who is out there flying a drone. And I like that cleanliness of it. Instead of it's, well, I work for the district, or I used to work for them, or looking to get a job here, by including that members that are employed here. This here is simple and clean, and it puts one person in charge of knowing what's going on day to day, and that you're my day-to-day guy, and that's what you should be doing, knowing what's going on, or you're designated to, one of our more capable staff, not more capable than you, but anyone that, just so long as you know what's going on, that makes me feel a lot better about all of it.
So this would ultimately take away that any staff member wouldn't be able to just fly a drone because they were a staff member, that anyone that was looking to do this would not only have to be licensed, but they would have to have approval from the superintendent.
Correct.
In order for them to have any drones in our property. So Barton Malow Media Network, whether it be a program that the school is running, whether it be the police department, they would have to get express permission from you if we change this to anyone versus a staff member or administrator. Because as it reads right now, any administrator could fly a drone without permission on the property, correct?
It can be read that way, yeah.
It could be read that way. So that was the fear, that the interpretation was that anyone, if they were an employee of the district or an administrator, would have the right to fly a drone without getting express permission from the superintendent. So that's what we're trying, that's what we're trying to clean up. So now there won't be a question of who has the ability to do it, because all of the authority would come from your approval.
Correct.
Okay.
Why take out the employee part? Why change it to individual?
So colleagues, do we have any other questions in regards to this? Member Petrucia?
No, I say we've made a motion and seconded it, so we have a
Okay.
motion on the floor.
All right. All right, any other, do we have any other questions or comments in regards to changing the policy so that it gives more authority to the superintendent to make sure that we're following things correctly and so that we know who will be on our property using the drones? Because that's really what this clears up, is it gives one person. It was just the way I believe. I think there was concern it could be interpreted wrong.
I still see the way that it is, that the superintendent has to give permission.
Okay.
I'm comfortable with
You're comfortable leaving it that way? Okay. All right. And this is following the law. This is Neola.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Are we ready? Do we have any other questions? Okay. All right. All those in favor with changing the policy, please raise your hand. All those opposed, please raise your hand. 4-3, motion carries 4-3. All right, Secretary Ristich.
It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the revocable license agreement between Waterford School District and the Charter Township of Waterford to allow the Waterford Township Police Department to use a designated portion of the district's bus garage property at 1118 Sylvestris Road as a launch and recovery site for unmanned aerial systems. I so move. Support.
All right, the motion has been moved and supported. And we do have questions and comments, but I believe Chief Underwood has decided to join our meeting tonight to help give some clarification for those that weren't able to attend our meeting last time. Chief Underwood?
Thank you very much. I appreciate the time. I want to start by saying that the Waterford Police Department and the Waterford School District have a long-standing relationship. Police officers and administrators long before me help build that relationship, and we value that relationship greatly. We intend to continue to foster that relationship, quite frankly, without any regard for what happens here tonight. As is true in education, technology is also transforming policing in profound ways, enhancing how law enforcement agencies operate, interact with communities, and respond to calls for service. The use of technology to predict and prevent crime, optimize resource allocation, enhance investigations, and provide police officers with critical information in real time is evolving. While the human element of police officers in the community interacting with the public is still the most important part of policing, we continue to explore ways to deploy evolving technology that supports and enhances the efforts of our officers. One tool that has been used in policing is drone technology. However, up until recently, drones were only used in limited situations such as response to large-scale disasters, tactical support in high-risk incidents, and special event and crowd control monitoring. In those situations, deployment has been slow and capabilities have been limited. In 2017, a police lieutenant in California pioneered the concept of using a drone as first responder, now widely known as DFR. The simple yet brilliant idea of using drones to respond to everyday calls for service has gotten the attention of law enforcement across the country. Law enforcement agencies have discovered a way to enhance the way they police their communities smarter and safer, with drones responding daily to everything from parking complaints to large-scale and active high-risk incidents. A review of one agency DFR program found 78% of calls for service were first responded to by drone. 20% of calls for service were resolved without dispatching a ground unit. 86 seconds was the average time for the drone to reach calls for service. An 89% increase in subjects located, including suspects, missing persons, including children and the elderly. Additional benefits of DFR are enhanced situational awareness by providing real-time information to ground units, improved response time with faster deployment and access to difficult areas, enhanced public safety, crime prevention and deterrence, and crime scene documentation, improved crowd control, event management, and search and rescue operations, enhanced officer safety by reducing risk and exposure, and integration with advanced technology and automated systems already in use. These proven benefits demonstrate that by investing in DFR, police agencies have significantly improved their ability to respond to incidents quickly and effectively while enhancing public safety, reducing costs, and improving operational efficiency. The ability to gather real-time intelligence, monitor large-scale events, track suspects, and support tactical operations is transforming how law enforcement handles emergencies as well as day-to-day operations, ultimately leading to better outcomes for both officers and the public that we serve. Software installation, integration, and training. Approval has been granted by the FAA for our agency to fly unmanned aircraft as a public safety organization. And we have identified strategic locations within the township from which to launch. We have trained 15 police officers and expect to train more, and those dispatchers as well as operators, all of which have been and will be certified by the FAA as commercial drone pilots under CFR Part 107. With this increased response capability, we increase our presence without adding to the cost that goes along with hiring more police officers. Remember, never in place of, but in addition to, to enhance our overall capabilities. Each time a drone responds to a call for service, it's a unit or additional units at the scene. When we are able to clear calls without sending ground units, those units are free to respond to or remain available for other emergency calls. We appreciate the board's consideration of the proposed license agreement before you this evening. Thank you for the time.
Thank you. Do we have any comments or questions before we take the vote, board members? Member Sonnekrant?
So I got this for the last one, but I'm not going to get this for this one. My husband's a law enforcement officer, and I've done my research, and I know how many calls he's been on where drones or flock cameras have really helped.
And again, members of the audience, I would appreciate, this is our board meeting, we need to be able to deliberate as a board, so I would appreciate if you could allow our ability to hold our meetings.
I'm just letting you know that I've heard you, but I have done my research. And
Member Sonnekrant, do you have anything else to add?
No,
Okay, Member Petrucia.
Hey, shut up. This is our meeting.
We need to gain order. I'm going to call a recess to allow everyone in the audience and my board to have a moment to collect themselves, because this is a meeting that we need to be able to have these discussions in regard to our district. So I would appreciate if we could take 5 minutes to just collect ourselves so that we can be courteous to both the audience and to our board members. Thank you. All right, let's go. We're not allowed to. We can talk to each other. Let's just take a minute.
I'm fine. Yeah. No. I just wanted people to know
All right.
I did my research.
All right. Within the district and with our board members. All right, are we ready to reconvene?
Yes.
All right, I just want to make sure that we can move forward and so that we can have these important discussions. Member Petrucia, you were up next.
We're not voting for or against drones. That has nothing to do with us. We're a 2x2 pad, I believe, is what we're talking about parking a drone on. This is what it has nothing to do whether we're for or against, how much help they can be or deterrence. As a volunteer fireman, there was times that we have rural kind of areas. You could have a fire, you could have lost people. This isn't just a policing thing, this is a community thing. We've lost children in our schools. We have a few retirement homes. One of them, my old backyard, right along Clam Lake. It's all very wooded, you can't get around that. If you have someone walk out there in the woods, on the lake, and get disoriented, this is needed. And again, that's for the drones, that's nothing about the drones. This is about parking a drone on a 2x2 spot. That's what we're voting for, is to help our community that has helped us, and I truly appreciate what the police have done. Again, we have a wonderful relationship. It's a great thing, but it's just about a small area on a bus garage. So, I'd love to.
All right. Member Torres, again, I am asking our audience to please be respectful of our meeting. There was time for you to address us through public comment. We need to be able to deliberate and have our board members be able to discuss this so that we can proceed forward with a vote. Member Torres?
So I want to start off by saying I appreciate everybody's stance on this. I have some strong feelings about the drones. I'm just going to kind of lay out what my thoughts are. I understand the problems and that are.
This is about the
I know.
I know. Member Patricia.
All right. Yeah. If
Member Torres.
Yeah. But what it does is it aids the use of drones, and I'm against the drones. So I'm not going to be in support of something that aids something that I don't approve of. So the issue that and the technology that we have in today's day and age, in the year 2026, drones, these kind of things, it does solve a lot of problems. But we also have to remember that sometimes when you solve a problem, you create other problems, right? I'm old enough to know when the internet came out in the early 2000s, right? We thought it was the greatest thing. It was going to open up the world. It was going to make us all communicate more. Relationships were going to be better. You look at the year 2026, it's done the exact opposite. We're divided. People don't know how to communicate. Kids are attached to their phones. And people live in these virtual worlds, and they don't get out into the real world and talk to each other, right? So I see this with drones is that it can do a lot of good. It can solve a lot of problems. And I work in the criminal justice field. I work in probation supervision, the court end of criminal justice. I've been a court administrator. I've been a probation officer. I've put murderers, rapists in prison for long periods of time. I've seen horrible things in my career. So I understand the good that it can do, but I also know the bad that can be created when you try to solve a problem and it creates an even bigger problem, as we've seen with the internet, as we've seen with social media and all these kinds of things. Surveillance is another issue that I have a problem with, right? We know that anything can be abused, right? We have a constitutional right to unwarranted search and seizure in this country, right? That we have a right to have our privacy. And I think this opens up the box to too many avenues for people to be able to surveil not only us in the community, but our kids. And one of the things that we're seeing right now under the current administration is that it can be the abuse of power. There's a couple of other things I want to lay out, because these are my feelings and I feel strongly about it. And I'm worried about big tech, right? And I'm worried about what big tech can do. We're seeing the drones, we're seeing the data centers, we're seeing social media, and we're seeing AI. We're seeing it right now. School districts right now across the country are suing Meta, right? Because our kids have mental health issues. So these are the problems that get created when we go too far, when we try to solve one problem and we create so many others. And I'm old enough to remember the Patriot Act. It was mentioned tonight, right? 2001, right after 9/11, right? The justification that it was used for, right? And I was against it then as a young college student, my senior year of college, against the Patriot Act, because I knew what it could do and that it could go a step too far. And after 25 years working on the court end of criminal justice, I still feel the same way, right? I understand people have rights, and we can go too far in criminal justice. So I don't begrudge anybody else on this board for how they vote, but my vote is going to be no on this issue. Thank you.
All right. Member Ristich? Member Donahue? Member McGregor? Member McGregor?
So I also am of the perspective that I don't feel like I can vote for this, because as somebody who has studied electrical engineering, there are a lot of things that this brings up concerns for. The security for me is a really big issue, and it's an even bigger issue in the political climate that we live in, because, and I'm not trying to make this about politics, the thing is, it is way too easy for people to get access to things like this. And when there are so many cyber security issues going on in our world, this becomes a target. And given my work previously with drones, I am concerned how somebody could use that. And I am concerned that even if it's not at a school, I don't want to enable it. I understand where, like, I have friends who are police officers who think this is an amazing thing because it can help. But I think the biggest delineation for me is the AI. That's the biggest thing.
The information that we had that we shared in the last meeting, it's not in this packet. It was just, there was a few pieces. I believe it's in regards to our contract. Is it all in here? I could be missing it.
I have a copy of the
Okay.
contract, yeah. Would you like to see it?
Yes, if possible. So again, as Chief Underwood, as you have heard the concerns from our audience as well as from our board members, I would like to go over a little bit again of our agreement, but I want to reiterate, this specifically is a docking station on top of the transportation building, and the exact dimensions were 3 by 5, if my memory is correct?
It's roughly 3 feet by 4 feet.
3 by 4, okay. And we do have the ability to, if this were to be voted through, to cancel this contract with the police department with a 60-day notice, correct?
Correct.
If we felt that it was being misused,
Yes.
if our agreement wasn't held up to how it was written and what we agreed to. So in the purpose of the agreement, the township requested access to a small defined area of district property to support public safety drone operations, including emergency response, law enforcement missions, and training. The district determined that granting this limited revocable license provides a community benefit while maintaining full control of district property. Use of district property. The township may use only the designated licensed premises, Exhibit B, which is the ancillary building our transportation department, for drone launch, recovery, and minimal staging. Use is restricted to public safety and law enforcement purposes, including training and readiness activities. The district retains full authority over the property and may suspend use with 2 days written notice for noncompliance. Prohibited activities. No commercial operations or unrelated drone activities. No surveillance of students or school activities unless tied to an active authorized law enforcement purpose. No entry into district buildings or restricted areas without written authorization or emergency necessity. Safety, privacy, and compliance. The township must maintain a UAS safety policy, establish a safety perimeter, and follow all FAA, state, and local regulations. Operators must be properly certified. Any incidents involving injury, property damage, or near miss must be reported verbally within 24 hours and in writing within 5 business days. Costs and improvements. The district receives no compensation as the arrangement is considered a public safety benefit. The township is responsible for all equipment, utilities, and any approved improvements. Only equipment listed in Exhibit C, Flock Aerodrome, DFR, and docking station is permitted unless additional improvements are approved in writing. Any damage caused by the township must be repaired or reimbursed. Data and records. All drone data remains police department records. The district may request recordings only when legally permissible. Both parties will manage their own FOIA obligations. Insurance and liability. The township must maintain the insurance coverages outlined in Exhibit D, naming the district as a certificate holder where permitted. The agreement does not waive governmental immunity for either party. Term and termination. The license runs through December 31st, 2030, and an optional 2-year extension. Either party may terminate the agreement within 60 days' notice. Upon termination, the township must restore the licensed premise to its original or better condition. So those are the terms outlined in our agreement that both the district and the township police department have worked out, had many meetings and discussions over, correct?
Yes.
So I just wanted to make sure, because many of the audience members were not at our last meeting when we did discuss this, and it has been something that has been discussed thoroughly between our administration, our board, and we've had, as we do with everything else, at least 4 touch points before we have to make a vote. Yes, it is, unfortunately, the world that we live in. Everyone does have concerns in regards to AI. We also are in a world where we need to make sure that we are doing everything we can to protect our community. So as Member Torres, Member Patricia, Member Sonocrat, Member Stitch, Member Donahue, Member McGregor have all said, and we as a board, this is not in regards to our beliefs over the drones themselves. This is simply whether or not we are going to approve the township to have the ability to use the transportation building as a docking station. So I do know, are there any other questions or comments we have in regards to this?
You're forgetting that. It's a third-party company. It's a third
The agreement with Flock is not with the district, that is with the Waterford Township. These are issues that you need to take up with Waterford Township and the county. We are simply only being a docking station. So that needs to be clear, and we would... Do we have any other comments or questions? All right. The motion has been moved and supported. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. All those that oppose? Motion carries 5-2.
Thank you.
Lieutenant Sutherland? Lieutenant Sutherland, if you could help, I would greatly appreciate it. We are going to call order again to our meeting so that we can move forward. All right, we are going to move on now to Secretary Rissich to our next item.
It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the attached resolution to submit replacement operating millage proposal for the August election date, August 4th, 2026. I so move.
Support.
All right, the motion has been moved and supported. Are there any comments or questions? All right, all those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. Motion carries 7-0. And we are now going to move on to Treasurer Donahue.
Superintendent's recommendation 47-25-26, vape detectors. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the proposal for the purchase and installation of vape detectors in all high school student restrooms for implementation beginning the fall of 2026. Quotes were received through our state cooperative agreement, REMC. 27 Halo 3C smart sensors at $19,440. Halo 3C smart sensor software at $2,700. Installation by corporate audio visual services at $10,430. And for the total amount of $32,570. The funding source is 31AA grant funding. I so move.
Support.
All right, the motion has been moved and supported. Are there any comments or questions? All right, all those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. I can't see Pat's hand. Oh, sorry. All right, motion carries 7-0. All right, we are going to stay with Treasurer Donahue regarding our elementary furniture.
Superintendent's recommendation 48-25-26, the elementary pilot room furniture. It is recommended to contract with NBS for the elementary pilot room furniture project for 13 classrooms to be installed in the fall of 2026, as presented in the amount of $127,000, $127,125. The funding source is the 2020 bond. I so move.
Support.
All right, the motion has been moved and supported. Are there any comments or questions in regards to the elementary furniture? Member Petrucia?
Again, this was all in our packet. We had all this information. Thank you very much. But it wasn't presented to me at the meeting. I don't like voting. I don't like getting information and voting on the thing that day when things like this could have been put on previously in a more timely manner. So because of that, I can't support it.
All right, are there any other comments or questions? All right, all those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. All those opposed? All right, motion carries 6-1. We are now going to move on to public comment on non-action items. I do have a green card up here. If Mr. Chris Cooper would like to make his way to the podium, I would like to be reminded that comments are limited to 3 minutes in duration. Members of the public are invited to share comments. However, this is not intended to be a time for questions and answers. Lastly, participants may speak only once on the same topic and are asked to avoid statements that are personally directed, abusive, or obscene. Welcome, Mr. Cooper.
Thank you, Board. I appreciate it. Everyone, my name is Chris Cooper. I'm the proud principal of Donaldson Hills Elementary, and I wanted to give you the state of Donaldson Hills for the year. We're working very hard over at DH to improve 3 areas: student behavior, student achievement, and student attendance. I'd like to tell you where we've been. We've made some progress in some areas. In some areas, there's still a little bit of a work in progress. This year, we've reduced student behavior 21% on reported behaviors from last year. Why is that? Well, this year we have a strong PBIS program. That's Positive Behavior Interventions and Support. We call it the Dragon Way. We're safe, respectful, and responsible. Board members, this is talked about every morning on our morning announcements. Our teachers reinforce this in the hallways and in their classrooms, and it's made a huge difference for us. In addition, we use community service and restorative practice in lieu of suspensions. We work with the kids, we have explicit discussions while we work, we wash windows together, we pick up snow. These are some of the things we do in lieu of suspending our students. It gives us an opportunity to work side by side together and have some of these great conversations. With regard to student achievement, this area is a work in progress, and I'll explain why at the end. But we have some amazing programs in place that are making a difference for us. I want to tell you about our morning tutoring program for 3rd and 4th graders. We have 25 kids who attend every Tuesday and Wednesday morning to work on math multiplication facts. We also have a full roster of Donaldson Hill kids signed up for Camp WSD this summer, which will be held again at Donaldson Hills. In addition, all of our Donaldson Hills 3rd through 5th grade teachers will be participating in Epic Math next year with Devin McKee from our CIA department, where they'll receive extra materials, extra coaching, and support for both teachers and students. We're still not where we need to be yet, and that's because of this last area. Board, student attendance is one of the most powerful predictors of academic achievement, emotional well-being, and future success. We're still having a lot of challenges with late arrivals, early pickups, and chronic attendance issues. I've been working hard to build relationships with our families. When our students come in late, I spend time talking with the parents, asking them how I can help. How can we get here on time? I have spent time calling parents in the morning to wake them up, to get their families ready for school. I've picked up students who've been at home. We also have our monthly Perfect Attendance Awards. Board, this is done each month in our cafeteria. I go down there with the microphone and make a big deal of this. These are for all of our students who have been here every day on time and not picked up early. We average about 22 to 25% of our total population each month with perfect attendance. January was our best month, 98 kids. I'm really proud of that. The kids get a certificate with their name on it. It's signed by me. They get a small prize. Student attendance affects both our behavior and our achievement, and we're working hard to improve that, but we're not there yet. And I ask you, if anyone has resources that may help in this area, we are very open to suggestions. Last but not least, I want to tell you that these initiatives have been possible through an enormous level of support from my administrative colleagues sitting up front here. A very special shout out to our amazing administrative team at Crary who have been here to support me as a first-year principal, and we couldn't have made some of these gains without them. Mr. Martin, that includes you. Mr. Martin's been to my school 3 times just to visit me and check in and see how things are going at Donaldson Hills, and I'm so proud of you for that. Thank you, Mr. Martin.
You're welcome.
And as we say every morning at Donaldson Hills, go Dragons, all right.
Thank you so much, Mr. Cooper. We always enjoy hearing from our students, our staff, our administrators, and all the wonderful things that are going on.
And Mr. Cooper forgot to mention the joke of the day at every morning announcement as well. So, yeah, doing a good job over there, Mr. Cooper.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us. All right, we're now going to move on to Board of Education's reports. Are there any reports, any Board of Education reports? Member Sonnekrant?
Waterford Youth Assistance is having an open house. I'd like to invite everybody to come check it out at the Covert Center next Wednesday from 5 to 7 p.m. So come on over and see what it's about. And then on the 28th, the kids are going to be getting their awards for recognition night. So you're invited to come to that as well.
Okay, great. Member Petrucia?
I was wondering if Mr. Cooper knew the difference between a crocodile and an alligator. I'll see you later, or it's after a while. That was all.
All right, do we have any, Member Ristich?
Yep, this is a reminder that the Waterford Parks and Rec, their annual sheep shearing and pancake breakfast is coming up next weekend, April 25th, 2026. The pancake breakfast between 9 and 11 a.m. Sheep shearing begins promptly at 10 a.m. Pancake breakfast, the costs are $6 for for those 10 and younger, 10 for everybody else, cash only. So, don't get to the park without your cash. A couple really exciting things they have happening over at the farm is they have just acquired a new baby goat and a baby lamb. This is quite the big deal because it was a rough winter for some of the livestock over there, so this has been a pretty important addition to the livestock over there. Also, you will see they have contracted with an artist, and so one of the storage barns over there, right next to the house, the big yellow one, starting soon, they're gonna paint a mural around half of it. So it is gonna be huge. It's gonna be really exciting to watch. So when you go, take a look, watch the artist do the artist is from Flint, Michigan, and it will reflect Waterford themes, the history of Hess Hathaway Farm. So really exciting stuff, but we'll see everyone at sheep shearing and the pancake breakfast next weekend, next Saturday at 10 a.m.
All right. Do we have any other Board of Education reports? Well, I would like to share, I was at Stepanski this past Friday for the Head Start policy meeting, and one of the issues that we were talking about, or one of the things that came up, is starting to plan for Teacher Appreciation Week, which is coming very quickly. So that is in May. So I just wanted to give a reminder to all of our community. Please make sure if you take a moment. They love emails, texts. Just let your teachers know how appreciative you are of them. We are so grateful to have every teacher. I wish that we could have Teacher Appreciation Day every day, including bus driver appreciation, food service worker appreciation. Honestly, every day we should be appreciating our staff, but just know that those plans are coming up at each school for those events for Teacher Appreciation Week. So make sure you reach out to your PTOs and to your local buildings and see how you might be able to participate. I also would like to give a huge congratulations out to Ava Wagner, who is a sophomore at Waterford Mott High School. And I am remiss because I forgot to get the picture to Miss Sarah Davis so we could share this as well. Ava entered the Oakland County Treasurer's Financial Artistic Award again this year. She was a previous winner as a freshman, and she entered it. And as a sophomore for Waterford Mott, out of 154 submissions, I should give a little background. There's 154 submissions to this event, or to this contest. It is open to every high school in Oakland County, and there are awards given for 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. Ava Wagner, who also happens to be my daughter, represented Waterford very well, and she was awarded again the first place for the sophomore submission. So her artwork will be displayed at the Oakland County Treasurer's Office for the next year, and also in their online gallery, and there will be an event in May to honor her, as well as all the other students that were awarded winning pieces of work. And it was not just artwork, but it was also based on the writing that they had to put with the artwork. So this is on financial empowerment. So most kids aren't probably really into doing art pictures that are based on financial empowerment. Apparently my daughter likes to do it because she keeps submitting submissions. So anyways, her artwork will be there. I wanted to give her a shout out because she, like most of our students, is very artistically inclined, and we have amazing teachers here in this district that provide these opportunities for our kids. So that was all. All right, we're gonna move on to Superintendent Anna Martin's report.
So we have some great news out of our transportation department. One of our bus drivers, Miss Susan Montrose, was honored with the 2026 Oakland County Excellence in Transportation Award. Susan and the whole team do a fantastic job, but Susan, we're happy to have you, proud to have you going the extra mile for our students every day. As it's starting to warm out, for those of you that like to play golf, I just want to remind everybody the Waterford Foundation golf outing is Tuesday, June 9th. They are looking for volunteers. They are looking for golfers. If you spray the ball around, it's okay. Come on out, have a good time. That money comes back to our students. So you can visit the foundation's website or social media for more information. And then early this morning, we had our monthly foundation meeting. And at that meeting, they announced our 2026 Teacher of the Year, Miss Angela Reddick over at Knutson. She's a second grade teacher. So after that announcement, we were able to go over, surprise her in her class. Her parents were there, her sister, her husband, kids were super pumped. Mr. Gregory made an announcement. We did a clap out for her. And then we went over to Lunghammer Chevy, where she was able to choose a car. So a big shout out and thank you to Lunghammer Chevrolet and the Waterford Foundation. Congratulations to the Knutson Foxes and especially Miss Reddick. We are proud to boast incredible teachers and able to lift up Miss Reddick as the 2026 Teacher of the Year. So yeah, awesome. That's it.
All right. All right, everyone. Seeing no further business, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone, for